benchmark oil prices per barrel.
All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Darkpool Algo, and thank you for joining me on this morning stream. Today, we're going to try to find some stocks and options, but more importantly, we're going to cover some news. Basically, we woke up this morning to war in Ukraine with Russia invading overnight. So far, it looks like there's about 40 people dead. So we're going to definitely going to keep an eye on that. You can hear that I'm got the news over here to my left. Just to keep an eye on it if there's anything that is going to come out that could move the market. Obviously, we're getting market moving in crude. Basically, you know our mantra: bottom row down, top row up. Well, it's the opposite right now. So far, we've got gold spiking, crude, bonds, and the yen all spiking, which is not going to be good for any bullish positions in the overall market today. Lots and lots and lots of stocks have hit their monthly and quarterly Keltner channel bottoms. If they break below that, it's free fall. So we have to be prepared, but let's not be biased, right? I feel like we're going to get a pretty significant downturn today, and any 10 to 20 pops in the SPX or the NDX should just be treated as gifts. I don't think we're going to be uptrending anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I think we're looking at some longer term downtrends. Now, with that being said, we do have to keep in mind that the world, the market still will continue on. If you're looking for strength in sectors, the energy sector is already proving that it is becoming a relative outperformer with everything else down. Okay, let's get through these earnings, which there's a couple in there that I'm interested in, like Lemonade. There's some healthcare earnings, healthcare news. Industrial materials should be a big one. And basically, tech is dead, right? We really need to start looking towards other revenues or other streams. Okay. So, good morning if you're joining me now. Appreciate it. Appreciate all showing up here. Let me just update these charts a little bit. Hopefully y'all can see that we do have some pretty significant rips on these bottom rows. And of course, how that would affect the upper row is that it's going to be downturned. Let me grab the right time frame chart here. I think I'm going to go with the 8-minute chart. Pretty decent. Starting to settle down a little bit as we started hitting new all-time highs. Light crude futures are over $100 a barrel, right? So any of those ExxonMobils, Valeros, Chevrons, those are all up today significantly. Meanwhile, Apple. Wait, what is this business? There we go. I had the wrong chart setup going on here. Yeah, it's better. Much better. I'm test driving this new 8-minute, 8, 24, 39, 79, 195, 3, 12-minute chart layout. It's pretty cool, except for a lot of indicators don't work with it, right? Any of the ROGI indicators that I use do not work with this setup because it's just a weird time frame, right? But most of my other stuff does, so I'm just going to be super interested to see what happens with price action and the 8-minute time frame using these minutes are equally divisible into a trading day, right? So there's these are full candles, right? Okay. All right, let's get into it. Morning, Johnny. Oh, Johnny got beat this morning. Oh, bro. What's up? All right, let's get into it. I'm gonna turn this news down just a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna turn it off for now. I'll be back in a few. We're going to go check that out later. All right. So, y'all remember Skittles? Do I have it up? Oh, I don't have the right. I've been trying to convert my charts from my old trading view layout, from my old account to my new account. And I remember this right here that you see, this gray with this very clean gray with my moving averages, right? Very, very easy to read chart. I missed that sucker. That was a good one. All right, we'll get into this Magic Celts one. Is another amazing one too. I'm going to be working a lot more with TradingView over the next couple weeks, mainly because Thinkorswim is such a resource hog that I can barely trade with it if I've got anything running besides like Active Trader. So yeah, I hate that, and I'm not going out to buy a new Windows machine just to trade with. Let me get the right time frame. Get the 4 hour. All right, that looks good there. Okay. All right. Y'all remember skills? Remember skills? All the hype from Charlie about it. Yeah, it's a penny stock again. Okay. I just had to show you that. NTAP is one that NetApp, which is one that we traded a bunch. So we really have to pay attention to these earnings because a lot of this drop is general market, right? NetApp third quarter EPS at 144 versus 128, revenues 1.6 versus estimated 1.6, quarterly billings at 1.7, QNet revenues at 1.7 versus estimated 1.6, EPS 121 to 131 versus 135. So those are decent earnings, right? Those are actually really good earnings. So when this settles down, look for some retracement. Hold on, I got to go see if my chicken head's awake. Sorry about that. My chicken head is awake now. All right. Oh, 5.9 FIVN. This is a fun one to trade. Again, this is probably market reaction. This is probably earnings reaction here, right? So pretty decent move. But imagine last week, Valentine's Day, trading at 140. Today, trading at 85. Dead cat bounces across the board. Okay. Q4 EPS at 42 cents versus 36. Revenues at 1.73 versus 165. Guides for one quarter revenue at 171 versus 170. EPS at 12 to 14 cents versus 21. And they're guiding the forward-looking revenues at 757 million versus 748. So they beat on earnings per share. They adjusted the revenue guidance, saying that we're going to be profitable this year. So this might be one to look at in the next couple of weeks. Put it in your possible trade for 2022 list. That's the other thing I'm going to be working on is revising my list, because there's a bunch of COVID beauties that are now zero, right? Space, for example. Space, COVID beauty. I talked about Space pretty extensively yesterday. Said that I believe in this company and I'm looking to get shares for the long term. However, I'm not willing to throw money away. I have one share right now just so that I can keep an eye on it. I got that share at $7.64, and it's already down 10 cents, right? So where's the bottom going to be for Space? Who knows? But it's currently resting at the daily Keltner channel bottom below the 750 level. We hit $7 pretty quickly. Below $7, I don't even know what to do, but I will be loading the boat on that one, because guess what? Space flight is a real thing. Maybe in my kid's lifetime, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next 5 years. Right? I think we've got a lot more things to get through. Did NetApp to 5.9. Booking is probably a good one to look at, just because one, it's such a valuable stock that it can really, really affect things, and two, this is a travel sector, right? And for the first time in several months, it finally broke below its 50 and its 200. Next stop, looking at weekly bottom 2137, another 100-point drop, right? If it breaks this little trend line support that it's got going on here, okay? You can't, let me rephrase this. Let me be careful how I phrase this, right? So we're at trendline support, right? Trendline support, double bottom, bounce, bounce, bounce. Okay. the options for booking are so liquid that you can literally, if you get filled on the bid, you can immediately sell it at the ask for and make $50 to $60. That's how huge the options spread is on these. So I would recommend against trying to trade this, but keep an eye on it for how the overall travel sector is going to be doing. Okay. All right. Dish Network had earnings, EPS at 87 cents, in line with estimates. This is not earnings, right? Well, maybe it is. Regardless, weekly, daily, monthly bottoms blown out, right? We got a monthly top coming in at 25.72 that may provide some support for Dish, but I wouldn't I'm not long on anything at all. I'm going to sit out and watch because I'm horrible at bear markets. I think it's funny that Russia invades and there's a bear as the market. Really? Get the tinfoil hat on that sucker, right? Okay. Fubo. Remember Fubo? Basically, when you think of Fubo, think of soccer TV. Q3 revenue at 230 million versus 213. Hours streamed 404 million, which is 96% year over year. Sees Q1 revenues at 232 versus 237 versus 237. Forward-looking 22 revenues at 1.95 billion versus 1.86. So decent numbers for this. Remember when this was trading at like 30 and 40 and people were like, yeah, let's rip it. Yeah, what's it trading at now? Penny stock. Remember the penny. Welcome to penny stock land. Okay. Live Nation. Oops. Pretty decent move, right? At some key support levels here. If it can make it through the next couple of days, this would be a good one for the longer term because it's a nice little cup and handle forming. Decent earnings, right? Q4 revenue at 2.7 billion versus 2.05. Ticket sales were at a record price across every metric in October, November, December, being their top 3 months for ticketing gross transaction value, excluding refund tickets, with the fourth quarter and the second half of the year also setting records for a quarter and 6 month periods through February. Large venue shows are up 30% versus 2019. Concert ticket sales are up 45%, and sponsorship and advertising pipeline up double digits in February. That is amazing news, right? There's still, I don't know why. Yeah, this is not enough to affect this. This is the market conditions. So when things settle down and everything gets shaken back out, right? Look at Live Nation concerts, because guess what? It's got some good up and down possibilities. Okay, moving on into industrial materials, which are going to be very, very important in the next little while. Aluminum prices rallied to record highs. Moscow's invasion of Ukraine sparks fears of sanctions that could cut supplies from major producing Russia and disrupt energy supplies needed to produce the metal of aluminum. Gas prices have spurred since tensions escalated. That led to output cuts in Europe, leaving consumers scrambling to secure metal. The 3-month aluminum on the London Metal Exchange hit a record high of almost $3,449 a ton, metric ton. Okay, now that is not the only thing that's going to be affected, and I do not, unfortunately, have the ticker symbols needed to show you aluminum, wheat, and crude. Those are the 3 main exports from Russia. Okay. Just to be Tesla's going to go beyond under 700. Just to be, we have to be aware of that. So the problem with the wheat lack of exports, not necessarily for us, but like third world countries or underdeveloped countries depend upon that export because they can't grow wheat in Africa, for example, right? So it's about to get real ugly, real quick. If you're not already bearish, just turn your charts upside down and pretend like it's a bull market, but it's really bear. Okay, all right. I think that's it for industrial materials. I just wanted to go over healthcare. Remember Clover Health, right? Remember this one? All right, this one was trading. I think it IPO'd at like 30 or something like that. Well, now it's a penny stock, right? I think it's hilarious. Go back and watch all of Charlie's videos. Anything that he pumped is now death. Okay. Not seeing anything that we would regularly trade. MRVI, Maravi Life Sciences, fourth quote. Look at this. So want to see something outperforming? Look at this sucker right here. Q4 EPS at 45 cents versus 38, revenues 228 versus 208, guides forward-looking revenues at 920 to 960 million versus 863, adjusted EPS 170 to 184 versus 154. This is blowout earnings, and it is staying up, right, even with everything falling down. So if you want to look at something bullish today, there may be a move from 35 to 41. Right? That could be a fun one. Let's keep an eye on that. I need to find some place to write all this stuff down. Dark World Charts. Trading chat room. All right. So MRVI earnings blowout and outperforming market. Here. Okay. All right. Dun, 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 dun. And financials. Lemonade, which is an insurance company. Lemonade Q4 enforced premiums at 383 million versus 41. Gross earning premium 89 versus 88 million. Okay, they're expecting to close Metro Mile acquisition in Q2. Sees Q1 enforced premiums at 405 to 410 million. They basically came out and said that they're flat or a little down. Okay. However, remember, this was another one. Look at this. This is, oh my gosh, this is a perfect example. This is a great example of a stock that was trading at $73 in November that is now trading at $17, right? This is like, I don't even know what to say about this. 1065 is monthly bottom. Below 1065, like, I'm afraid to say we may see some stocks that hit sub dollar. Like, I'll be gobbling. I'm going to grab a bunch of these, right? Just a bunch of these. Whenever, so if it gets below 10. So it was a SPAC, I'm sure. So most SPACs will revert to their SPAC price, which is around $10, right? Fair value for most SPACs is about $10. Okay. So anything in that 10 to 11, 10 to $9 range, I'll be looking to grab, just because I want to start grabbing some longer term stuff in companies that have a future, right? I'm trying to think a generation ahead. All right. Anyway. Okay. Energy. This is kind of important. Whiting Petroleum, right? Should be ripping right now, but it's not. Well, maybe it is right now. Earnings Q4 EPS at 423 versus 359. Revenues 473 versus 335. Production for Q4 averaged 92,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day, which is consistent with the previous quarter. Oil production averaged 52.9 thousand barrels of oil per day compared to 51. Like, so why isn't this up more? Which is what I'm asking myself. Because if I were to go look at Chevron, it's gapping, right? 135, 145 gapping. What is up with this company to where it's actually not at highs, right? Is this profit taking over the last couple of weeks? There's something up. There's something fundamentally off with this. Okay. If your sector is ripping and you're underperforming, there's something fundamentally wrong, and just be careful. Okay. Sonova Energy, 13-cent loss versus 26-cent loss. Consumer additions came in $2,000 short of guidance range midpoint due to delays caused by Omicron in late December, but are adding these 2,000 to its 422. It's like, so we missed the boat, but we're going to not use it for this earnings. We're going to wait to use it for next year's earnings or next quarter's earnings. I feel like that's another one of these that was trading at 30 and it's now at 10. Jeez. Under Armour, Six Flags, Sleep Number, Revolve, Rent-A-Center, Real, Marriott, Vacations, which is different from Marriott, Hertz. This is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the Hertz earnings. Okay. Hertz was trading, sub $1 at one point. It's crazy. EPS at 91 versus 76, revenue 1.9 versus 1.97, revenue per user 31%. Fourth quarter 19 due to disciplined fleet management and continued travel demand recovery. They've done a pretty good job. Okay. Under Armour, the board has authorized repurchase of up to 500 million Under Armour's outstanding Class C common shares. Right? That's UAA, not UA. Right? So that share repurchase should be pretty decent. However, we're in a bear market. 1140 is fair value for Under Armour. Okay. And I didn't realize that Marriott had, so you've got this, which is Marriott, right? I didn't realize Marriott Vacations was a separate entity. Interesting. Yeah, regardless, I mean, nobody's thinking about vacation when there's a war looming. Okay. All right. eBay had earnings. Death. Monthly bottoms. You gotta be ready for these monthly bottoms. 47 to 43. I don't have a quarterly bottoms up yet, so a 3-month bottom. I guess I could build one. eBay beat on EPS. Revenues came in flat. They raised their quarterly dividend by 22%. Announced an additional 4 billion share buyback plan. So it's actively working to get itself out of this little death spiral that it's in. Again, dead cat bounces across the world. Okay. That's it. Key events today. There's going to be some virtual NATO conferences, virtual real estate, global capital, healthcare, right? A bunch of virtual conferences today. There's a massive amount of earnings this week. They all just seem to be like small cap, mid cap. Let me throw these up here so y'all can see it. I don't have to read each one. Zscaler I'm interested in. VMware I'm interested in. Square, Rocket, Oxy, which is Occidental Petroleum, and looks like Dell has earnings. Etsy has earnings today. Don't sleep on that. You let people know. Let people know. All right. Boom. Beyond has earnings today too. And Carvana. I think that's it for the ones that are usually. Oh, and Coinbase. Okay. I think that's it. All right, let's get over here to the rest of this and we'll get into the plays, shall we? We do have, oh my goodness, you know what else we have today? We've got unemployment claims. Just buy a put, sit back and collect tendies. Yes. Preliminary GDP at 8:30, unemployment claims. We have crude oil inventories at 11. Meister speaking and Waller speaking today as well. Oh, hold on. Let we've got other things. Natty gas storage, crude oil motors, and Meister speaking. So these events will affect the market. Okay, just be careful. Look at the euro down. The yen is up, obviously. Canadian dollars up, which is decent, but sketchy AF. All right. Okay. Did Baba have earnings? Did we miss it? Didn't have earnings last night. Or it did. Baba had earnings. Did they not? That's interesting. My news didn't even report on those. Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it. Jeez. Baba is sub 100. Let's go. Oh, so SPY just tapped at 1.618 from the drop. Where's he taking that from? No, that doesn't work. Critical support for SPY is coming in at 400. Ooh, SPY's going to get sub 400. Sketchy AF. And US futures are sharply lower. Let's look at those real quick, shall we? There we go. US futures are sharply lower with no lift overnight as S&P futures slide 2.5% or 106 points. S&P 106 points is huge. Huge. As Russia launches an attack on Ukraine, the Russian ruble falls over 10%, forcing Moscow to announce a currency intervention. Bitcoin down over 6% to 35,000. Gold prices are up over 3% or $60 to 1,973 an ounce. And WTI crude spikes 8% to nearly $100 per barrel. Well, it broke $100 per barrel earlier, right? Snowline tap out also. Treasuries caught a flight to safety bid with the yield on the 10-year note falling 12 BPS to 1.86%. This is the 30-year, and the euro falls 1.3%. Overall, another brutal day of selling pressure appears on tap as Putin announced a military operation in Ukraine, claiming it's intended to protect civilians. Putin warned other countries that any attempt to interfere with the Russian action would lead to consequences they have never seen. That's going to be rough because you're talking. I don't even know. I'm not even going to go into it. He said that Russian military operations aim to ensure demilitarization of Ukraine. Russian missiles rained down on Ukraine cities, and Ukraine reported columns of troops pouring across its border into eastern regions. Biden said he's sending his prayers with the people, and he and other Western leaders promised tough sanctions in response in Asian markets, which is interesting. The Nikkei index is down 1.8%. The Shanghai down 1.7%, and the Hang Seng dropped 3.2%. In Europe, the DAX is down over 5%. That's huge. 5% drop. And the FTSE 100 tumbles 3%. So massive casualties in the market, right? How do we trade this? Well, just everything's really heavy. There's a lot of fear, a lot of panic setting in. Look for big flushes, right? Don't be like, this is the bottom. I'm buying the dip. There is no dip. We are in a downtrend officially. Okay. Thanks. All right. Let's get into this, shall we? All right. What you see in front of you is our futures charts. Typically, we like the bottom row chart, the bottom row tickers to be down, right? Bottom row down, top row up. That's the way we like to trade futures. Okay. So we're going to check these out. I'll go through a really quick, how did we get here? And then we'll look at where we're going from here. Okay, this fire line tapped below this fire line, 39.85 incoming. Okay, that's just the way of the world, the way it's going to be. Okay, that fire line is hugely important. Okay, so we initially saw it with a nice little drop. We rallied back up, thought we could reclaim our uptrend. double top failure, retested the 200, large move down. These are big moves down, right? So how does this look? See how we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possibly? Prepare for the ugliness that is. Let me grab my stuff here. From an Elliott wave theory, we're down to snowline, retest. This would be the 3-leg, which is typically the longest, right? And we can retrace all the way back to the snowline for this 4th wave. As long as we don't, all the way back to about here for this 4th wave. As long as we don't go lower than the 1 point, right? It's still considered 4th wave, but typically that's just a pullback to the 21. But we're with the 21 so far we're removed from us, and I don't think with the fact that we've got war in Ukraine, I don't anticipate any sort of big pops, right? Maybe let's see, that was about a 1 ATR rip. So let's see if I can see. Possibly about here. I don't even think we're going to back test previous lows. So I don't think we go 4,100, 4,200. I'm thinking 4,100, 4,170, right? So maybe a 60 or 70 point move. And then the 5th wave, it's going to be tough. It's either going to, and I'll have to look and probably get some input from more experienced traders, but this is this March 16th coming up here, right? I'm going to look at the 382 from the initial drop as my 5th wave. I'm going to lock it in. Final answer, no phone and a friend. Okay. That would be this generalized area. But what happens when this FOMC meeting hits, right? Do they start rate hikes? Do they start their aggressive stance towards inflation when the market is down 1,000 points from when they announced? How much lower do they need us to go to curb this off? Do we go snowline to snowline and then back to tree line? Right? Sub 3,500 is 3,500 the number? Like, they have to have a level at which they feel is fair. But look at the gains that we've given up. We're currently trading we're currently trading approximately 1.25 standard deviations away from our regression line from COVID lows, right? So just, it's, am I doing a good job at placing fear? I feel like I'm fear mongering right now. My bad. Yeah, I don't think, like I said, any sort of little dips, right? Any sort of little rips off of here, expect heavy resistance, right? Go back to your previous low. That's your resistance point. Any sort of ripping to that is, setting up for larger move down. Bring it down to the 30-minute. All right. Like I said, 20 to 30 point pops is gifts. Those are gifts, right? Not GIFs, gifts, not gifts, gifts, like Santa. 4101, right? 4153. That's a big pop. 21 rejection, right? 21 rejection. Possible inverted head and shoulders, also very possible head and shoulders. We have to be careful, right? Look for your larger time frames to guide you. Okay. This is not bullish. Okay. All right. Moving on to the NQ. So the NQ is probably going to be leading the way lower. Okay. Tech heavy NASDAQ. We have treeline magnet 12875. That is a major support. That's a major level there. Below that, we hit the 382. Okay, so let me get rid of this one because it's no longer valid. Okay, from the initial pullback, right, we have a 382 extension, right? Oh my gosh, unfortunately, the 618 extension, look at this symmetry at 11, let's just call it 12,000. There's a lot of symmetry at 12,000. Big drops in the NASDAQ. I'm going to look at 12,850 as our next downside move. From an Elliott wave perspective, 1, 2, 3. I don't know if that could be counted at 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 broke above it, so that's not accurate. So we have to look at potential. This is corrective. YBC corrective pattern. That would start us into a 1, 2, third wave down, fourth wave, fifth wave. So if this is corrective, right? A, B, C, D. This begins the new Elliott wave move that I'm going to use. This snow line possibly. I have to find my tool that measures these because these are they're measured moves, right? So I'm looking at 12,832 today, or possibly, yeah, I'm looking at this 382 as our target, downside target for the day. Right, that's a 700 point drop. Oh, here we go. We got some snow lines. All right, so skyline support, pretty decent. Maybe this might be the move here. 12,861, 13. That's a 250 point drop. This is the area I'm looking more at. 12,500, right? We can see little blips, right? Little blips of slow meltdown that's going to take place. I think this is our downside target. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, corrective, A, B, C, another downside, 1, 2, 3. I think that this snow line is more of a magnet than the skyline. Okay. So level 12,853, 12,536, 12,481. Okay. This is a 21, so the 21's right, just riding with the 20. Look at this, we failed there. I was like, we got to get through there. Well, we failed it and dumped. All right, I'm gonna get through the next ones of these pretty quickly. The old Dow, the dilly dally daily Dow, the dooley dally dilly dally daily Dow. Okay, ooh, I gotta hurry because I gotta take my daughter to school in 24 minutes. Well, we blew through everything. Snowline magnet. See how these snow lines act as a magnet. Continued move. Next snow line down. Let's say we break 3,200. 31,200 is the next level of support. Below that, there's a tree line at 29,642. You can see this zone is here. Right? There's a zone that runs here. Right? Is that it? Let me figure out the ATR for the Dow and I'll do some zone work, okay? But there's a clearly defined move to the downside. Let's look at the 4-hour. Not much has changed, right? This is probably just going to hold us up till the open before we take our next move down. Breaking it down to the 39-minute. This is the same pattern you're seeing everywhere. I don't know if it's a corrective, inverse head and shoulders, regular head and shoulders, but the rally to the 21 rejected. So back down to the snow line, 32, 113. Look for a reject to the 21 again for the move back down to the skyline. 31, 757 consolidation and then break down, or consolidation and break back up. The 30-minute 21 is what I'm going to be using as a guide. Okay. That may be a little too quick. Check out the hourly. What we want to do is we want to find a 21, a 21 time frame. Monthly levels, quarterly levels. All right, long China. What? Chinese warships entered Taiwan's territorial waters. That's sketchy AF as well. All right. All right. I gotta move quicker. Yeah, let's use the 30-minute 21 EMA as our guide. Okay. All right. And checking out the Russell, the red-headed Russell is breaking through. So new low, 1840. That's the next level of support on the Russell. Below that, we have a fire line at 1716. We break this, right? We break this snow line at 1837, 1850, just like that area. We break this fire line is going to be a magnet. Okay. Big old juicy magnet. Below that, it's super ugly. Like, so this fire line is 2020 highs before the beer bug, and we get back to it. So we hit that level. We just erased all of what COVID did to the market on small caps. It's been real. Oh, look at this move in gold. I can't even imagine. 1980 from 1820. Big all ripping gold. Thanks, watchlist, for turning it on to us. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Big rip. Right. Look at that. I'm starting to like my zones a little better here. Right. This is a runaway train. Buy the dip on any. I don't even know how. I don't even want to tell you how to trade this. Right. Fibonacci levels could be your friend. Know your support levels. Stack moving averages. Right. 618 pullback from this rip. I can't in good conscience say to go long on anything, even if it's gold. Right. Because what did I do there? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I think we have to go from the lows. That's pretty in line with what we're doing. Okay. 618 pullbacks at 1943, 50% retraces 1933, and the trend deciding 382 is at 1923.50. Right below 1923.50 or this 1919, right? This level's here. Below that, we reverse trend. Big bounce for rip. Okay. And then crude obviously is moving the way it's supposed to. Yep. China invade Taiwan. That's a big issue for our economy. So crude, big ripping. Bonds are ripping, and the yen is really ripping. What I want to check out would be, there's ours. Okay, so if China invades, we have companies like Pinduoduo. Right, nice little pop off that news. Baidu. Everything should, a little dropping off that news. Baba is one. Right, big drops. JD. Right. China invading Taiwan is not good for us. What are some other Chinese stocks? Futu. Just anything that we used to trade on the Chinese sector. Baidu. Did I already do Baidu? Baidu's in a place to rip though. Trendline support failed to 200. It's got earnings coming up. What? When's it got earnings? It's got earnings next week. Daily bottom rejection, weekly bottom target. If we take out these previous lows. All right. Our bread and butter stocks, how they're looking overall. They're death by 1,000 cuts. Let's just say there's nothing that's gonna help these stocks here, y'all. There's nothing. Tesla, for example, Tesla 680 incoming. If you watched anything I said earlier in the week, Tesla, damn dude, Tesla hit sub 700. Tesla's next level tree line, 682, 650. Worst case, 613. Ooh. See how AMD gap down through the snow line to this next skyline. Fire line is a very real magnet at this point, so 9750 possible. Nvidia below 201, 191 possibility. Tesla below 680. At 655, 640, and then finally 613. Very, very possible. Yeah, good job on grabbing the AMD puts yesterday. I don't know what was going on. I've been having trouble swinging things. All right, I got 15 minutes and I got to run. Get me your requests and let's do this, shall we? All right, good morning. First one in was Andrea. Andrea has no request. Johnny was second. What's up, Johnny? What do you want to see? All right. You want to look at FTX? Lockheed Martin, Smart Man, Valero. All right, let's do this. Micron is officially trading with the flow index in a downtrend. Right below 87.31, which is your dark pool support. Next level is 85.25 for a move to trade 85.25 down to 79.72. Unfortunately, I don't know what it's trading at now. Micron 83.50 support, right? So 83 break, retest 80, which is a 200, and the daily sub 78.29, 71.80 on Micron. Flow index is selling off. It does have a little bit of support coming up, but keep an eye on what the flow index does. FTX is not really a stock, is it? No, I know what you're talking. It's not FTX. It's RTX is what you're thinking, aren't you? RTX, Raytheon, right? Yeah, Raytheon Technologies. Yeah, they're in the war category. If you're looking at RTX flow index trading with price, we have a dark pool magnet at 93.50, currently trading at 92.24, which is it's trading at 94.30. Sorry. 94.30 is basically a top of a previous trading zone. Above that, we trade up to 95.96. Flow index is curved through it, made a higher low and higher high, like RTX long today. Lockheed Martin was going into today bouncing between regular blocks at 386.20 and 388.90. Bouncing, consolidation. A little bit of a falling. Well, this is a broadening pattern. I have to say it's a broadening pattern. with the flow index down. However, this is, wow, 17,000 on Bitcoin as a target, downside target. Boosh. All right, 400 is psychological level on Lockheed Martin. We blew out the top of everything. Let's see what the flow index does at the open. If it still diverged bearishly, look for any pullbacks, right? Any sort of retracements, right? Puts on it, downside puts on it. It's a war stock, but it's gappy. Okay. Valero, I don't understand why Valero is a sector underperformer. Everything else in the energy sector is ripping faces. I think it's because Valero has been stuck at this 250 day, right? Up and back and up again, up and back and up again. Slingshot squeeze getting ready to release. If we get above the 4-hour top, right? Break previous highs at 89, then I think we get a move to 90.57, possibly 92.88. However, we've got bearish divergence, right? What did I say we're trading at? It hit 88, so we're at 88. There's a nice trading zone up to 90. What would that do? That would cause kind of a nasty head and shoulders. Flow index is definitely taking profit. If we break this wedge below 85.74, quick profit taking all the way down. Okay, I think this bearish divergence is going to continue to play out. Okay, moving on. Freeport McMoran. Yes, that's a copper stock, right? That should be a fun one to play. AMD, SPY, and then QQQ. All right, Freeport McMoran. Oh man, so sad. This is a good example of divergence playing out, though. See where we diverged. Let me just bring this up because I've got some new viewers I want to show you. Great example of divergence. Okay, so at this point in time here, what happened where the flow index started taking profit, right? And price action started moving. Okay. As soon as we hit resistance and the flow index started scaling out at positions, right? Or scaling into positions, we have divergence that occurred to the point of divergence, right? Look at that point of divergence played out. So all this divergence here has been played out. We had some time where price action was trading with the flow index, and now price is still downtrending with the flow index. So if we break this wedge support and previous lows here, what happens next? We downside gap fill to 40.72, and then we trade that zone back down to 40. Below 40, we go all the way down to about 38. Okay, Freeport McMoran on the chart, the Chijidi chart. All right, rejected 200, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 4-hour bottom support. Below that, we got the 50-day at 40.92. If we crack this 4-hour bottom, this $41-ish level, flush at 39.71, and then retest the 200-day down at 38. Okay, I think that falls pretty much in line with what I was talking about over here. All right, next up on the list was AMD. All right, so the flow index is selling off. AMD is pulling down. White line support for AMD is at 109.76. I know that we've gapped down below that, right? 104, 100. I think what was it? AMD was at 100. 104. So look at, as far as room to move goes, monthly mid AMD at 98.86. We cracked that. So below 97.39. 67 on AMD. I know, I hate to say it, but it's there. All right, going into yesterday, there was bullish divergence on the SPY, right? It was minor, but look at the flow index, making lower lows and lower highs, right? Falling channel, falling down. Okay, 422. Unfortunately, the SPY is going to like hit some key levels today. Some key levels. Not Kiki, you love me, I'm riding. No, 403, 404. Okay. Any pops, look for short opportunities. Okay, monthly mid 403, if that breaks 400 psychological level, we got a 360 target for SPY. Okay, and then finally QQQ, and I got to run. Kind of the same deal, except for I think QQQ is going to fall a little bit faster and harder. Okay, so we broke our main support levels. Monthly bottom 289 incoming for the Qs. Double bottom on the flow index. Look for the flow index to take out its previous lows. All this dark pool support right here is gone. 329. QQQ 317. So 5 and 15 bottoms, right? That's really holding this up. Below that, we don't have anything holding us up. Okay. Yep. Look for continued price action moves to the downside. However, contrarian, if we do get, I thought I could move my stuff around. Guess not. If we do get the flow index to start pulling things up, there's dark pool magnets 330. So it'd be 330, 335, 340, 345. I don't think we get those kind of rips there. Yeah, it's just real ugly. Shopify is going to be dead. Oh, geez. 586 on Tesla as a downside target. How are you getting that? How is he getting 586? That's a very bold prediction. I need to see how he's getting it. He's saying 586. I got monthly bottom at 420. Tesla at 420. I'm going to buy it up. All right, I got to run. Thanks for joining me. I am here every morning, Monday through Friday. I will see you all tomorrow. Remember, there's nothing wrong with starting feeler positions, throwing a little bit of money in to see what happens, just so you stay interested, or sitting back with a bag of popcorn and seeing how everything goes to zero. Stay safe, stay green, paper trade.